If you've been scrolling through endless patio set options, comparing pictures, specs, and price tags, and you still feel stuck on whether any of them actually fit your backyard, you're not alone. I've been there, staring at a screen for half an hour, trying to picture a 6-person dining set under the summer sun, then wondering if the cushions will survive a sudden rainstorm or if the table will sag under a big family feast. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. In this video I'm going to break down the purple leaf patio dining set for 6 so you can decide if it's the right fit for your space, or if you should keep looking. First off, let's talk about the biggest hesitation most buyers have: durability versus price. Outdoor furniture is notorious for looking great in a showroom photo and then turning into a soggy mess after one season. The purple leaf set tries to address that by mixing a few different materials: a high-pressure laminate, HPL, tabletop, an aluminum frame, and PE rattan for the chairs. Each of those has a specific purpose. HPL is basically a tough, weather-resistant surface that won't warp when you leave a hot pot on the table, while aluminum won't rust like steel. The PE rattan is a synthetic weave that mimics the look of natural rattan but resists UV fading. On paper it sounds like a perfect compromise, but how does it play out when you actually host a dinner outside? I set up the set in my own patio last summer, which is about 12 by 15 feet and gets a decent amount of sun in the afternoon. The first thing I noticed is the table's footprint. It's a rectangular shape with a slightly deeper surface than a typical 6-person set, giving you room for serving platters without crowding the guests. The HPL top feels solid under the weight of a loaded casserole dish and a couple of ice buckets. I didn't notice any wobble. That's a practical strength you don't get with cheaper particleboard tops that can start to sag after just a few heavy meals. Now, the chairs. The cushions are wrapped in Sunbrella fabric, which is a name most outdoor enthusiasts recognize for its stain resistance and UV protection. I spilled a glass of red wine on one cushion during a barbecue, and the stain barely left a mark after I blotted it with a towel. The fabric also dried quickly, which is a big plus when you're trying to keep the party moving. The cushions are removable, so you can store them indoors during winter or when you have a sudden hailstorm. That flexibility is one of the set's most practical features. You're not stuck with a permanent "let's hope it survives" scenario. Comfort-wise, the chairs have a wraparound backrest that actually supports the lower back a bit better than the flat-back chairs you see on many budget sets. The seat depth is generous enough that you can sit comfortably for an hour or two without feeling cramped, which matters when you're having a long dinner or a lazy Sunday brunch. I did notice, however, that the PE rattan weave is a little tighter than natural rattan, so the seats are a bit firmer. If you're used to plush, deep-cushioned lounge chairs, you might want to add an extra layer of padding or a small throw for extra softness. One hidden trade-off comes from the aluminum frame. While aluminum is rust-free, it conducts heat. On a scorching July afternoon, the legs of the table warmed up noticeably. If you're planning to set the table on a surface that can't dissipate heat, you might want to place a heat-resistant mat underneath or move the set to a shaded spot as the day gets hotter. It's not a deal-breaker, but it's something to keep in mind if you have kids who like to sit on the table legs or if you plan to leave the set out in full sun all day. Another point that often gets missed in product photos is the weight of the pieces. The HPL tabletop and aluminum frame add up to a fairly heavy unit that's good for stability, but it also means you need at least 2 people to move it. If you rent your patio or like to rearrange furniture frequently, consider the effort required. The chairs are lighter, thanks to the PE rattan and aluminum legs, so they're easy enough to pull out for a quick shuffle, but the table will stay put unless you get help. Who should buy this set? If you have a medium-sized patio, a garden, or a balcony that can comfortably fit a 72-inch by 36-inch table and 6 chairs, and you plan to use it for regular meals rather than occasional lounging, this set hits a sweet spot. It's especially appealing for families who entertain often, because you get a generous seating capacity without breaking the bank. The Sunbrella cushions and the weatherproof materials mean you won't be constantly worrying about fading, mildew, or cracking. If you live in an area with mild winters and you can store